good evening. So my name's Karen Ralphs, and I'm going to be talking to you first of all about A-level psychology and sociology and some new courses that we will be offering from 2021. So if any of you are currently in year 10 and considering your options for a year's time, we will have an applied psychology and an applied criminology course that will be available to you. So social sciences then. Social sciences is the biggest A-level department in the college. So as well as psychology, sociology, we also have geography, history and the English subjects that come under social sciences, which I will be talking to you about after this presentation. Within the department, we're based in the Academy building, which is a brilliant facility. We've got the huge library that is on the ground floor of the Academy building. So actually, being in social sciences means that you're really close to all those resources that are in the library. Within the department, we have got some extremely experienced, dedicated A-level teachers. Their primary course is on their timetable is the A-level that you will be studying. So in psychology, we have got 2 A-level psychology lecturers. Psychology is probably one of, well, if not the most popular, certainly one of the most popular A-level choices that we have at the college. And we have 2 very experienced, very dedicated, very knowledgeable psychology lecturers. I've sat in the staff room on many a lunchtime listening to them debate different psychological research. And so they are extremely good. We've also got a fantastic, very experienced sociology lecturer. One of the good things about us being a small college, and I know some of the other people that have spoken tonight have already mentioned this, is the fact that students get an awful lot of attention, an awful lot of time. So our group sizes are always very small. And it means as well that because you have generally got one teacher, one subject, it means that they get to know you really well. So certainly during the period of lockdown that I know has been mentioned a few times, we have been able to manage to keep engaged with all of our students. We've been able to monitor, track, and really support them throughout this difficult time. So certainly with the uncertainty that lies ahead, that is one thing to really bear in mind, that we are in a very strong position to sort of support you if the situation deteriorates. And I certainly hope it doesn't. We do an awful lot of enrichment activities within social sciences, which we'll come on to in the next slide. But we certainly have very high expectations of our students, and we support them to make the right next steps in their education and training. An awful lot of our students go on to university, and within social sciences there's such a broad range of subjects that they sit alongside really well any of your other A-level choices that you are thinking of making. So, really do consider those. So in terms of our achievement and destinations then, across the social sciences department, we had 99.7% pass rate last year. It is normally 100%. We also saw that there were no achievement gaps with regards to any different groups. So disadvantaged students, students with learning difficulties, they all do. In terms of their outcomes, they all achieve exactly the same in terms of their sort of predicted grades and so on. We have also, last year, 87% of our students went on to a positive destination. As I say, 74% of those were into higher education. The rest, a lot of them went on to high-level apprenticeships, which is an area that we will support students in as well. But we do have very high expectations of our students, and we really do want them to aspire to be the best that they possibly can. So with 42% going to a Russell Group University, and obviously those of you who saw the principal's speech at the beginning, Emily Morby is currently studying at Oxford University, which is a fantastic achievement. So we usually pride ourselves in social sciences on being able to get students out and engaging with extracurricular activities or enrichment activities. So last year we did our first tour of Iceland, which although many people think of as geography, it was open for any students at the college to participate in. We've run tours of Germany and Poland in the past. Now, obviously, at the moment, overseas trips are not something that we have got planned, but as soon as it is safe to do so, these are the sorts of things that we would want to reinstigate. To try and make sure that students really understand what opportunities are out there for them, we do take students to open days. So last year we took a group of students to Manchester University Open Day, the Leeds University Open Day. We've taken them to apprenticeship fairs, higher education fairs, and then we have some of the specific enrichment activities that link to the social sciences. In terms of psychology, last year they took a group to help with emergency response training. So they went to a sort of simulation activity where they participated and they were treated by the emergency services in a sort of a catastrophe situation. But that was really good for them because within that they were able to see the psychological impact of the actual event on the emergency services, and they actually had a bit of a talk looking at things like post-traumatic stress disorder and so on. Next slide, please. So if I start to look through some of the actual specifics about each of the subjects now then. So as I say, I'll begin with A-level psychology because this is our most popular A-level choice. We usually have 3 groups of psychology, A-level, 3 different groups, but there has been 4 in the past. So when I say that the college is committed to having those smaller group sizes, then that is something that they will do. The A-level psychology course then, it is a 2-year linear, what we call a linear course. So you will have 3 exams at the end of year 2. It is 100% exam based, so there is no coursework in this particular A-level. Within the course itself, you will cover a whole range of different topics, which are sort of the main roots of psychology. So things like social influence, you will look at memory and how we remember things. You will look at attachment theory and how we form attachments and how that can affect our approach to life in future. Some of it does then link into elements of criminology and things, so things like psychopathology. But then you will look at some specific psychological conditions, so things like schizophrenia, depression, aggression, and understanding sort of how the mind works in that way. Since the introduction of the new A-level courses, we've always had 100% pass rate in A-level psychology. Last year, 34% of the students actually got an A-star, A or B grade, which was outstanding. And the results in psychology are consistently very, very good. And that is down to the dedication of the 2 teachers that deliver the course. Now, in 2021, we will be offering something called applied psychology. It sits alongside other A-level provision. So just you would pick applied psychology as one of your A-level choices. As I say, it's an A-level equivalent course. So if you are a student who does not like exams, this is a possible route through psychology. Within this course, you will do similar sorts of topics that you will do in the A-level psychology, but it's a combination of both externally assessed units. So there are some exams, but also there are internal coursework-based modules as well. So you will be producing assignments. So within there, you will look at things like the application of psychological approaches, conducting psychological research. Research methods and how you conduct research are fundamental in psychology, and looking at those research approaches and how you apply them to research situations. There is a big focus in applied psychology on health psychology. So if you are wanting to go into a career within the healthcare services, so anything to do with mental health or so on, which has got a huge growth at the moment in terms of recruitment and things, this could be a course that would work well for you. Now, with both of the psychology courses, and those of you who were listening to James just before, who was speaking about maths, within psychology, there is statistical analysis. There's a great deal of statistical analysis. And so if you were thinking of going to university to study a degree in psychology, we strongly recommend that you do core maths alongside psychology. because it will be something that universities will potentially be looking for from a psychology student. I think that's about it with psychology. So I didn't know whether I'd have a pause now and see if anyone had any questions specifically about psychology before I talk about sociology and criminology.
The only specific question we've had, Karen, and you've just answered it, is do I need to be good at maths to do psychology?
Broadly speaking, we would like students, because there is within psychology there's a lot that there is maths that you will do. It is mainly statistics though, but within it as well there is also some potential that you will need biology as well. So in terms of entry requirements, a grade 5 in either maths or science would be helpful, but there isn't lots of maths in it. But certainly if you want to go on to do it at degree level, that is when you would start to incorporate. There is more maths in it at that point then. Yes. Okay.
That's great, thank you. All the other questions are more general, so I'll wait until the end.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so moving on, the next A-level subject that I want to look at is sociology. Now, sociology and psychology do go hand in hand, so they are a good subject combination to do together. Many of the broad skills in terms of research methods and sort of social influence and things, they are across both of these subjects. So if you are thinking about a subject that would complement psychology, then sociology definitely would. By the same token, psychology, if you're interested in sociology, psychology will complement sociology. Again, like psychology, A-level psychology, A-level sociology is 100% exam-based. There is 3 exams at the end of year 2. You have got, let's say, the 3 different papers that you can see the different sort of breakdowns of there. The difference between sociology and psychology in terms of how it is examined is that sociology is much more of a written subject. So you will be getting quite long, extended written answers. So whereas in psychology, having some scientific or math skill is quite important, in sociology is your written skill. So being able to construct an argument and so on is very, very important. Now, within sociology, then, you will do, again, a broad range of different topics. In terms of the topics in sociology, paper 2, family is a huge aspect of that, and looking at the family unit and how it's changed over time and how that is influenced by society and so on is a big thing that you will look at within that. But again, social influence, looking at how education has changed over time and how the part that plays in society in terms of social mobility, deprivation, and so on. These are all things that you will study within sociology. Research methods, like I've already mentioned, so you will be looking at how we conduct research within sociology, and you will also looking at society and how its beliefs and crime and deviance and things have changed over time and how that drives society forward. So certainly at the moment with some of the different political protests and things we're seeing, that would feed into sociology and looking at how that influences the way that we live our lives. So as I say, sociology is 100% exam based. It's an extremely interesting sort of subject. It covers a broad range of different topics, and it has got vast amount of links to lots of other topics that you may well have studied already if you haven't done sociology at GCSE. Next slide, please. Thank you. And then finally, again, for those of you who may be in year 10 and thinking of coming to the college in 2021, that we will be offering by that point another applied course, level 3 course in criminology. Criminology is becoming one of the most popular subject choices at university. And as well as offering this level 3 applied criminology course in 2021, we will also be offering a Bachelor of Arts degree HE course in criminology. So if criminology is something that interests you, you will have the opportunity to be able to continue your studies into higher education at Selby College through that route. Now, just like with the applied psychology, this is a break. It's a mix of exam and coursework-based units. So again, if you're a student who is not that keen on terminal exams, this could be a good option for you. It will be viewed in the same way by universities, so it carries the same UCAS points. And this is a mix of sociology, law, and also aspects of how the police work, and looking at that pathway through from sort of crime scene to courtroom. So if you are potentially interested in going into forensics or some kind of element of police work, this could be a good course for you as well. So some of the units that you will study in here, again, you've got that sociology link. So there is elements where we look at deprivation, we look at things like the built environment and how that can impact upon crime rates. You will look at theories of crime, and how sort of crime patterns can change, and how we analyse them. Like I've said already, you will look at that. There is a unit where you follow looking through from a crime scene right the way through to the courtroom, and all of the different processes that take place in between, and the different organisations that are involved. And you will also look at crime and punishment and how that has evolved over time, and how we've ended up with the policing and crime systems that we have got in place now. So they are all of the different subjects that in this first presentation to do with psychology, sociology and criminology. So if anyone has any questions, then thank you.
Great, thanks Karen. So you touched on it a lot there with criminology, but somebody sent in beforehand, what are the jobs that you could get with these three subject areas? So anything you would add for sort of psychology and sociology with that question?
Obviously, if you want to go into sort of anything inside with psychology, there are a great deal of opportunities in the realms of counselling, sort of mental health, sort of support, but also within the public services and so on as well, which you know, like looking at the psychology behind lots of different aspects of things is important. But even in things like the sports industry, you know, the psychology of sport, so it is you know, becoming increasingly important, and that mindset and sort of like life coaching and all these things seem to be becoming more and more popular. So certainly from a psychology point of view, there are a great deal of different opportunities out there. Sociology underpins a lot of different career pathways to actually understanding society and the different things that influence society. It can lead you into lots of different areas. So I wouldn't like to sort of pinpoint any one particular sort of career path, because I think there are lots of different opportunities that a sociology A-level would certainly open doors for you.
That's great, thank you. We've just had a couple of more general questions which you might be able to answer. So one is, how long are lessons while at college for A-levels specifically?
Okay, within A-level subjects then you will have 1.5 hour lessons. So in general across the college, most of the lessons are 1.5 hours in length. And so that means that we've got that little bit of extra time with you to really be able to sort of embed what we are trying to deliver in that lesson, but also give you that application of knowledge. Across all A-levels, but certainly in the social sciences subjects, learning the content is the easy bit in some ways. So actually gaining that knowledge is only half of the story. When it comes to the exam, actually being able to apply that knowledge, interpret the exam question, and construct an argument. So a lot of the essays and things are evaluative. So they want you to make a judgment and evaluate. And these are the sorts of skills that we try and sort of teach you, that probably will be quite different from what you will have done at GCSE.
That's great, thank you. And somebody just asked about if their GCSE results are sort of lower than they'd hoped, and obviously with these subjects a lot of people won't have done them at GCSE at all. So what sort of GCSEs do you look for, and what would you say about if people get lower grades than they'd hoped for?
I think in terms of the current situation and the grades that you may get, we are very aware at the college that, you know, we are in unprecedented times. So, you know, my advice would be that if you come in on enrolment day, and we will have all of the help and support and guidance there that you need in order to get you on the right courses. So we will look at the full picture. We will look at the full story. In terms of these specific A levels, then, having good English skills within all of the social sciences subjects is absolutely critical, because, like I've said already, there is a great deal of essay writing within there. And by English skills, I don't mean just sort of English language or English literature, or actually being, if you've done a GCSE history, for instance, and you've got a good grade in GCSE history, that indicates to us that you can write a good argument and that you've got those skills. So we will look at the whole profile that you come with in terms of your GCSE results. So please don't panic if you haven't quite made the mark in English, because actually if you've got another subject that you have done well in, we will take that into account. Certainly something like GCSE history. But as I've said already, for psychology, actually we'll be looking more at your maths or science results within those. So ideally we'd want you to have a grade 5 in either maths or science. So if you've done separates, biology is the one that we would look at. But if you've done combined sciences, you know, having a 5 in one of those is going to help you, because there is quite a lot of sort of science, certainly when you start looking at the brain and all the different elements of the brain and so on. There is those sort of science skills will be quite helpful to you.
Perfect, thank you. And then final question is, if I wanted to study any of these courses at university, will it be compulsory that I get an A level in it?
No, it certainly won't be. When I go on to the next presentation, which is where you've got geography, history and Englishes, what these universities want, I mean, by all means, if you've got an A level in them, it will, you know, it will stand you in good stead to get on those courses. But certainly with the likes of psychology, if you've got A levels in science, maths, that would sort of stand you in very good stead to get onto a psychology course. Certainly within the Russell Group universities. With like sociology, again, having a background, so sociology, there are links with geography and certainly human geography. There is also links with elements of history. So it doesn't mean that, you know, these are be quite new subjects to you. So, you know, if you want to go to university and you are really interested in doing these subjects at university, I would recommend that you do the A level in them, because it will give you a better insight into those subjects. But it doesn't mean that you couldn't go on to do a degree in these subjects if you haven't done the A level, because they sort of talk about the fact that they do cover in the first year, they will cover the content that you've done at A level again. So that was the advice that we got when we were at Leeds University last year.
Brilliant, thank you. So that's all the questions.